Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. Today I'll be presenting on the Can Quit study, which is connecting Alaska Native people to quit smoking. And this study was conducted in collaboration between ANTHC and the Mayo Clinic. And I am Zoe Merritt. I am a program coordinator with the Tobacco Prevention Group with ANTHC. And first, I want to highlight the importance of Alaska Native health research that focuses on tobacco. In 2017, 37% of Alaska Natives reported that they smoke in comparison to 17% of non-Native adult Alaskans. And due to the geography of Alaska, face-to-face interventions can be costly and aren't always feasible. So our group, we wanted to use social media as a possible solution to this barrier for tobacco cessation resources. And specifically, we created a Facebook intervention for Alaska Native people statewide who smoke. And Can Quit was a 5-phase study. I'll go more in depth into each phase, but specifically, I'll be focusing on phases 2A, 2B, and phase 3. So eligibility for our study was the same across all 5 phases, and participants can only participate in one phase. And to be eligible, you had to be an Alaska Native man or woman over the age of 19, reported that you smoked at least 1 cigarette a day in the past 7 days. And for the study, we were only focusing on cigarettes as the main tobacco product used. You had to be considering or willing to make a quit attempt, have access to high-speed internet, and a Facebook account are willing to set one up, and not be enrolled in a tobacco cessation program or using NRT or nicotine medications to stop smoking over the last 3 months. And we primarily recruited through Facebook. Here's an example of one of our ads. The ads were consistent with an image and text that adhere to Facebook's advertising guidelines. And these ads were targeted towards people who are over the age of 19 and use keywords related to tobacco use. So in phase 1, we recruited 30 Alaska Native people who smoke and 10 stakeholders who consisted of tobacco treatment specialists from across the state. And we conducted interviews asking them to give feedback on existing tobacco cessation videos and postings. These videos and postings were made by the CDC or through ANTHC's digital storytelling. And here's an example of 2 of our postings. And so for each postings, we asked the following questions. What message did you take away from this post? What did you think about the picture and text? How would you make this posting better? How might this posting fit with Alaska Native culture? And how do you think this posting might be effective in motivating an Alaska Native person to use a quit line or tribal smoking cessation program? And here's some examples of some of the responses we received. So for this first post, always remember your reasons for quitting. A participant responded, if the picture were to stay the same, I don't think it'd be that helpful. But if it changed, it would be more effective. Changed meaning an Alaska Native family, more indigenous. And for the second post, be prepared. I like this one a little bit more. It's definitely like that scare tactic, but it's not super scary. It's a good message, doesn't have a graphic picture, but has a strong message. And she looks Native, that might tie in. And we also had videos that we asked participants to provide feedback on. And for each video, we asked, what did you think about the story? What did you think of the person in the story? What parts of this video fit or don't fit with Alaska Native culture? And how helpful do you think this video might be in getting an Alaska Native person to use a quit line or tribal smoking cessation program? And I wanted to share one of the videos that were used in the study and that we asked participants to answer the questions in the prior slide.
the 15-year-old kid I once was didn't think about what happened to when you get older, what the effects of smoking and diabetes. I was a young kid, was healthy. You don't think about that kind of stuff when you're that young. When you get older, when you find out the real deal. This is one stupid thing I wish I could take back. Didn't quit till after I was almost 40. And that's after I lost my leg. Lost a lot of time because of that stupid stuff. And being diabetic. I mean, after everything went wrong with my body and my health, I mean, it's the hard lesson to learn, but I'm glad I quit. I still got something to show for it. I didn't lose everything, thank God. I lost plenty. Put my wife, my family, my kids through a whole bunch. I know I did. I'm Bill Bussey, and I did quit smoking. I know you can quit too.
So based on the feedback that we received in phase 1, we selected some of the same postings and videos to be included in phase 2. And in phase 2, we recruited 40 Alaska Native people who smoke, and they completed a survey which assessed the content for perceived effectiveness and cultural relevance. And this photo shows the specific questions that we asked. And the goal was to combine phase 1 and phase 2 results to create a moderator bank of Facebook posts. And this content library included 64 different posts that were all tailored to Alaska Native people. And here's one example of the postings that we created. And here's an example of how we modified the post. So to the left, you can see the existing CDC tips posting. I quit so I could be around for my daughter. And to the right is the post that we created. I quit smoking so I could spend more time fishing with my son. So we included images that featured Alaska Native people participating in Alaska Native activities. And here's another example. Quitting isn't about what you give up, it's about what you get back. And one more example. I don't want to see anyone get addicted to cigarettes. And so after we developed the 64 different postings that would be used in the Facebook group, we had 2 Alaska Native tobacco treatment specialists that were trained as moderators. I myself was one, and then Claire McConnell, who is also with the tobacco prevention program at ANTHC. And we were trained in online community management, communication, and health behavior change. And really, we were responsible for posting the content and also getting people to engage with the posts and facilitating conversation. And so now that we have the posts developed and the moderators trained, we went into phase 3, which is the beta test of the Facebook group. And this was conducted with 10 Alaska Native people who smoke, and the group was open for 30 days. And the goal of the beta test was to provide the moderators a chance to refine their skills and make any adjustments we needed to prior to the pilot test in phase 4. And here's an example of some of the posts within the group. We had postings and we also did a poll. To the left is a poll that we posted so we could post content that resonated with their values. And every post had a link to resources, and people can either choose the Alaska State Quit Line or they could find out what their local tribal resource was. And so if someone were to select the Alaska State Quit Line, this is the message that they would receive, the phone number to the Quit Line, the website, and also what free resources are provided through the Quit Line. And if a participant were to enter their city or community, it would direct them to their specific tobacco cessation program within their area, and it provided their phone number, what resources are provided in their area, and also it had another link to or more information on the quit line as well. And in phase 3, we had a survey go out to participants as a baseline, and then also after the intervention at a 1-month follow-up. And at baseline, 60% reported a high level of readiness to quit, and 50% reported a high level of readiness to use smoking cessation treatment. And our results at the 1-month follow-up, 6 out of 10 made at least one quit attempt, and 2 out of 10 participants quit smoking, and they both called the quit line. And so based on this feedback, we went into phase 4 with 60 Alaska Native smokers, and it was the same platform, a private Facebook group. And that phase was completed in February, but we're still analyzing the results. So I wanted to end this presentation with our top 5 recommendations for success if you were to use a social media to create a group similar to this. It's important to select moderators that people in the group can relate to, because it's really important to build community engagement and to get people to comment on the posts and to facilitate that conversation. And we found it very useful to adapt our content for a cultural fit. And also to keep people engaged, we included a wide variety of content so people wouldn't get bored with our posts. And also trying to balance content. We didn't post every single day. We'd post every 2 days, 2 to 3 days. So people had a chance to comment on each post and really build that communication between participant members and the moderators. And here is our research team. And are there any questions?
Thank you so much, Zoe, for that wonderful presentation. I really liked the map that you showed in your presentation as well. It was great. For those of you who have questions, please go ahead and type your question in the Q&A chat box on the side. So we have one question from Jaden Avey. He asks if you could please talk more about your moderator training.
Yeah, so we had Colleen Young from the Mayo Clinic. She manages their online, their website where people can go and ask questions, health-related questions, and moderate those groups. So she flew up and provided a few-day training on different scenarios and how best to address it. I would say as a tobacco treatment specialist, I typically talk to patients like in person or over the phone. So moderating an online group was a lot different. So having that training was really helpful.
Diana Redwood has asked, will you be keeping this Facebook group going in the future?
I know that's something that we're looking into. I know some participants were a little disappointed when the Facebook group wasn't available anymore. And I do think it would be a really good resource to provide social support across the state for Alaska Native people who want to smoke. So it's something that we would like to do.